All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's class is going to be on office leasing. So some of the major points that you're going to want to talk to with your clients who are interested in leasing out office space are their location. Where do they desire to be at? What location of the city? What kind of area they want to be in? Do they want it on a major street? Do they want it in a medical facility? In a business park? Talk about the options for your client where they can actually lease out space. Their budget. That's going to correlate with the location. If they want to be in Beverly Hills but they're only willing to pay Canoga Park prices, we're going to have a problem. So we want to make sure that the budget fits the location, and that correlates also with the size. Now when we're talking about the size of the office, we want to understand what kind of business that they're running and how many employees they have. We want to ask the question if they are at a hold or if they expect to grow. We always want to make sure that they have a little bit of space to grow. Those are some important questions. Also, the term of the lease. How long do they plan on staying? That's going to also be part of your tenant improvements. If you have a longer term lease, you're going to get more of a build out. The layout and parking are also different things that you're going to go over with your clients. The layout, if they are doing a medical practice and need exam rooms, a receptionist office, all of those things you would be able to work out. Some offices are going to come in a basic vanilla shell or an open workspace to where they can build to suit. A lot of tenants are going to ask for special requirements for their clients depending on what kind of business they're working on. Amenities, this is becoming more and more of a thing. Offices, a lot, especially here in LA, there's a lot of creative office space that are becoming much more desired. They have high percentages of amenities, conference rooms, break rooms, coffee, valet parking, dry cleaning, child care. All of these different things are amenities that some offices may or may not have, and your clients may or may not need. We have a lot of clients that are looking for that community type of office building where there's retail on the bottom and it's within walking distance to shops, food, and things like that. Accessibility is a big thing as well. Depending on the type of office, you're going to want to be close to highways, busy streets, or you maybe want to be in residential, more of a residential community centers. When getting the lease structured for your clients, they're also going to want to think about an exit. At the end, do they plan on staying here long term? And that's going to go along with the terms and options that you're providing in your contract. Some of the exit strategies might even include subletting. And those are some terms that we all need to know for office leasing. The lessor, that is the person that is leasing out the space, generally the landlord or someone overseeing the property. Your lessee, generally the tenant, is going to be the lessee, and CAM. That's your common area maintenance. So most leases are going to be gross, modified gross, or triple net. CAM fees are going to be a part of that. In office spaces for all of the common area spaces, parking lot, the landscaping, janitorial services, utilities, AC, things like that.
Now I have a question on CAM. So is that's generally for like a shopping center, like multi-tenant area, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It also is in retail, but it's also definitely in office as well.
So yeah, normally when it's like a single tenant, there's usually not CAM they have to pay, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, like our building, for example, each department pays some sort of CAM services because we have the break rooms, the coffee rooms, the company and the building supplies all the coffee supplies. That's something that we all pay into.
Gotcha.
Just any other common areas, janitorial services, that those charges get swallowed up.
Okay.
You may have to pay for your own HVAC, which is your heating and air conditioning services. Most of the time, like our office is a full service gross, so all of those services are already incorporated into the lease cost. So they're not worried about paying their own AC, or if there's something wrong with the air conditioner themselves, they're not paying for the repairs. Just as in retail, we have the same types of leases: full service, net, double net, and triple net services. And also just with retail that we spoke about last week, you're also going to have your tenant improvements. Tenant improvements will go towards your build out when you're moving in, things that be acclimated for your business to fit into the space. Most contracts have subleases built in, especially if you're using an AIR form. Sublease is already built into the contract. That can be stricken out, but if you're working for tenants, you generally want that sublease clause to stay active because that's a way for them to get out of the situation if they're unable to continue paying rent. Some other terms that you're going to see in office leases, and that's your NLA. That's your net leasable area. And that's generally the entire building, stemming from the outside of the walls all the way to the center, including service rooms, like your electrical room, janitorial rooms. This includes bathrooms and the toilet areas as well. That's all the square foot. Now you have your gross leasable area is your GLA. Now that's going to account for all the square footage, but not service areas like your electrical rooms and janitorial. Are they?
And I think gross is everything, and net is the.
It's reverse.
I believe Eric's correct. I said that backwards.
Yeah.
So your net is everything, your gross is minus.
Your gross is everything.
Gross
Net.
Gross is there.
It's like your paycheck. You
So,
get the net.
in everything, there's a rent review that you can go through when the term's coming up, or if you're trying to say that your rent's too high, the landlord might even try to increase it. A ratchet clause, there's strong ratchet clauses and soft ratchet clauses. So a soft ratchet clause would say that the lease rent cannot go lower than the original term. Sorry, that's a hard. Cannot go below the original term. A soft ratchet clause would be that the rent cannot be negotiated less than the current term of lease. So those are something that on the rent reviews that your clients might want to try. You just have to make sure you're looking in the lease and seeing what kind of adjustments are allowed.
You also see a lot rentable area and usable area.
Correct.
Instead of net and gross.
Yes. Yeah. For offices, I definitely see a lot of different ways that the lease area is portrayed. So you definitely want to make sure that you're getting the right definition from the listing broker. For your clients to enter into a new space, they are going to need to have some sort of credit or financials. The landlord wants to lease out space to a strong tenant. They don't want to worry about them not being able to pay their rent. So if they have any credit or financials, they're definitely asked for bank statements and guarantors. If it's a small company, it's probably going to be a personal guarantor. If they've been in business for a while, they can show their financials from their institution. And also if they're new or existing tenants, the landlord wants to see a business plan. The business plan should show how the business plans on breaking even and exceeding that and making profits. This gives confidence in landlords to lease out to you for either a short or long-term period of time. So if your clients do have that available, make it presentable during the LOI period of time. Traditionally, offices are the same way as retail spaces. We can start off with an LOI, go through negotiations on tenant improvements, and then work out a lease after that. So, some current LA rates. I know we spoke about some of this in our sales meeting today. Asking rate in LA right now for, on average, is $42 annually or $3.50 a month. And that is an average between 4 and 5 star buildings and 3-star buildings, or your class A, B's, and C's. Vacancy factor is still about 18% here in LA itself, with The flip side being the 80% occupancy rates. Cap rates, and this is now we're talking about sales in offices. The cap rates are in the mid-5s right now. They project the cap rates going up slightly, but leveling out as well. Our price per square foot is about $430 a square foot in LA. The market prices have definitely been going up regardless of deliveries in the area. People are actually looking for newer built buildings. So a lot of the vacancy factor is definitely in the older, less desirable locations. So, does anybody have any questions?
Sometimes you can see load factor instead of CAM.
Absolutely. Can you explain what load factor is?
So let's say that there's a 100,000 square foot building with 10,000 square feet of common area, so it'd be 10% load factor. So if you rent 1,000 square feet with a 10% load factor, you pay for 1,100 square feet.
Gotcha.
So you
Okay.
multiply the.
So it's kind of based off of what you actually
Right.
occupy. Okay.
Okay.
So, and there's a lot of wiggle room with leases. I think it's one of the easier things to negotiate. There's a lot of moving parts. But with the amount of space and vacancies here, if you have a client for office space, more than likely you're probably going to be able to find them a space at a reasonable rate for a good term. So that's really all we have for office spaces today.